Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Mr. James Grady Robertson, Jr., age 70, of Alexander City, died November the 2nd at Goodwater Healthcare. Funeral service will be Thursday at 2 p.m. from Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel in Sylacauga, and interment in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation will be Wednesday from 5 to 8 o'clock at the North Chapel. The Reverend Vince Lee will officiate the service. Online condolences at curtisondsonfh.com, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel directing. Mr. Ernest Perry died at his residence on Saturday. Graveside's funeral service for Mr. Perry will be Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. from Prattville City Cemetery in Prattville, Alabama. And the visitation will be tonight. That is going to be, tonight from 5 till 8 o'clock at the North Chapel of Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Curtis and Son Funeral Home directing. And let me correct myself on the location of the burial. It's going to be a graveside service at Grimes Chapel Cemetery in Coosa County. And that will be on Wednesday beginning at 11 a.m. Visitation is tonight at the North Chapel from 5 until 8. That is Mr. Ernest Perry of Sylacauga. In other obituary news this morning, Mr. Ernest Marshall Perry, I told you about him already. Funeral service for Mrs. Dorothy Tucker, age 91, of Alexander City, will be 11 o'clock Wednesday at Wright's Funeral Home Chapel with Reverend Wayne Wright officiating. Interment in the Mount Zion Baptist Church Cemetery. Family receiving friends Wednesday from 10 a.m. until service time. Ms. Tucker died Saturday, November 2nd at her residence, Wright's Funeral Home in Alexander City, in charge of the arrangements. Ms. Irene Walker died Sunday, November 3rd at Adams Nursing Home. Wright's Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. Mr. Lorenza Russell died on Sunday as well. Wright's Funeral Home, Alexander City, will announce the funeral arrangements at a later date. Funeral service for Mr. James Edward Nelson Sr., age 81, of Alexander City, will be today at 11 o'clock from River Road Baptist Church with military honors provided by the Alexander City Veterans Honor Guard. Dr. Albert Pike will officiate. The family receiving friends this morning at the church from 10 until 11 a.m. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com, Radley Funeral Home, Alexander City, in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for Mr. Jimmy T. Hill of Sylacauga will be Wednesday at 11 a.m. From the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Brother Donnie Blackman officiating. Burial in the Talladega Springs Cemetery. Mr. Hill died November 3rd at Grandview Medical Center. Visitation Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com, Radley Funeral Home directing. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing in Sylacauga. And Floride H. Matthews died November 4th. Funeral arrangements to be announced later by Community Funeral Home of Sylacauga. And Mr. James Grady Robertson, Jr. died on November the 2nd at the age of 70. And the visitation will be tonight from 5 to 8 o'clock at Curtis and Son North. Funeral service will be at 2 p.m. On Thursday at the North Chapel of Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Interment in the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing that service. That's a look at obituaries in the morning, brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.